So let's look at really what have our folks over on the TMS been delivering. We're going to look at some of the April releases and do a little bit of a show and tell. So this is kind of an exciting one for me. If you are familiar with us, we have been doing some updates on the TMS. So we have done the catalog that got redesigned. We did the dashboards, they got redesigned. So this is kind of another one in that same feature of getting a redesign, really. And it's the learning paths and the learning path details. So some of the really cool things that we've done is really just to make it more of that modern UI, improve some features like the capabilities of searching, add in things that just make it look and feel much of a better platform rather than that just standard box standard approach. So we have added some of those improvements to the UI. We've also done some redesigning. So now we've started to add those icons that you're seeing in other of the catalogs. We've also got counts for the number of courses in the path. We've got stuff like stacked tiles. So you can see that there is, it's a learning path. There's multiple courses within there. We got the heart icons, like, as we talked about, we've added now some of these icons just to make it look a little bit nicer, easier access to get to things as well. We've obviously done the hover over state has now been redesigned, so you get more visibility. And then we've got like a different view, whereas before when it came to the learning paths, it was just a standard learning path and it went all the way down. Now we've got that more broader approach where we can start to see like a grid view and we can see the list view, and that really is up to the user's preference. I know for me, I like to see it all as a grid. I like to be able to see that kind of navigating down, scrolling down doesn't really work for me, but again, it's for everyone's preference. And then finally, we've got that learning path card view, which now kind of reveals a stat view to bring more focus on the course sets themselves. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, if you haven't already had the chance to see, I'm going to show you quickly just what does that look like and how does it start to make the TMS now further come to light if you're using those learning paths. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to share. You should be able to now see the Skillable Learning Paths catalog. This is in my organization of the operations manager workshops. So it's really more designed for me as I deliver these out. But as you can see, we can see this stacked view. We can start to see these icons really come into play. We have the new where we haven't even started it. And then we've got that started. I'm able to include images as well that make it look and feel a bit better. And then as time goes on, as we've talked about in previous workshops, is that we're able to add feedback in there. So over time, if your users are interested in giving you the ability to allow them to put some feedback in, you can start to build up those stars, and it's all based around the feedback and what the user gives. As we said, the grid view and the list view is up here the same. As I mentioned, for me, I like that more of a grid view. I just think it looks much of a nicer approach. But again, it's that personal preference of how you want. And then you do have this option here, like as you can see, I have 3 learning paths in my organization on my account right now. But if I had multiple learning paths, I can quickly navigate in and search for them. And we do have that filtering option as well. So I'm able to get some more filters as well. And in areas that I want, maybe I've got multiple learning paths in different areas, and my focus is, hey, I want to know about a specific skill area, or maybe it's a specific job role. So I can go in and I can click on those and apply those features. So as we see right here, I'm going to look at my beginner programming learning path. As you can see, I already started it. But when I hit the view path, I'm able to get this now. Again, it's more of a, we took the design that we have done, we've updated the course profile page for the learners. We did that same kind of style and we applied it to the learning paths. But what I really like about this now is that we're able to see things like how many courses are in here, how many things have I got to accomplish, roughly how much percentage wise will it take I can quickly see how many hours this entire learning path is going to take. If you're definitely building out your learning paths, I highly recommend, putting the audience level and a description. So my description is very basic, but it really gives the learner then the ability to know what the purpose of this learning path is. If it's focused on, so for example, if I look at my learning path here, you can see it's all programming languages. So maybe I would write in here, this learning path is for programming languages for beginners. I'm giving them just a little bit of an understanding of what the purpose of this learning path is that they have been assigned. And again, you can see in these 1, 2, 3. So these are the recommended options in when you take them. So as you go into your learning paths, the goal is that they take 1, 2, and 3 in that order. And hopefully the goal is that they build upon as you're thinking about these, and think about AWS, and you're just a beginner in AWS, right? You launch the lab. The first lab is a really basic lab. It gets you just kind of to navigate around. The second lab maybe gets you to do a couple of activities. They're a little bit more advanced, and maybe the third one then really pushes the boat out and gets you to kind of go a little bit further in. Now, learning paths, the nice thing about them is they don't have to say in order, right? So that you can have users switch, they can go from one to the other, but learning paths, the purpose of those is to guide the learner on it, take them in this order, and you will find that you'll learn and build your skills so that when you launch the final lab, the one that's in the last right here for my number 3, is you'll have the skills to be able to perform what we're asking in that lab. They are really nice things, and I like how we've redesigned them. Again, if you saw before, it was like 1, 2, 3, and it went down in a row. It kind of got a little bit confusing, but I think this one really makes it pop a little bit more. Again, we're still able to allow that if they want, they can still do, if they're sequential in that order, 1, 2, 3. And again, we're able to keep some of those nice things. And we can have a look at here. I can hit review, and I can kind of see what's gone on in my course assignment here. So as you can see, it started up. What we have is, it's just a video, so it's automatically created it and populated it for me. And you can see I can hit the continue. You can see what it is. It's just a video in here, and I can have a look at what does that learning path. This is contained. So this is one of the 3 courses. So having a lot more information in here, providing the user with the abilities to go through their courses as they choose. I like it. I think it looks really, really nice. I think it's got a lot to it. I think as learners, we'll really benefit from using these learning paths. And I think now that we have gone ahead and we've created something new and something that looks much better, I think we'll start to see more and more people building out their learning paths. Hopefully, your learners get a lot from those. So that's super exciting that we were able to create this new view, and hopefully you'll go away and kind of have a little play. If you were at one of the workshops before, we really focused on what learning paths were and what the purpose was behind them. But I highly recommend now with this new view is go in and really look, can you provide your learners a more of an experience of where to go next, rather than this this catalog approach where it's, they've got access to 15 different courses, but they're not sure in what order to take. That learning path guides them down there. So that is super exciting. I think it's going to be an awesome one if you go in and implement them.